Yeah.
So let's quick start. Welcome everyone who is online. We want to watch this video later on. Thank you for having me here today, Ramit. Today I would like to talk or maybe introduce this topic about monitoring and telemetry for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operating. My name is Juan Bravo. I'm Microsoft MVP. I forget to make a slide presentation with my details, but at the end of the session, maybe I can share my contact details and put everything together. That will be much efficient and more practical for all of you if we later we want to discuss about the topic in more details. So one of the core challenges we have with the F&O monitoring is that a lot of customers and partners are asking for the way how to get inside what is going on in the F&O applications. The actual customers are consuming data storage and doing logging and consuming too much database to have an understanding what is happening in the system. A lot of customers are asking for more accurate system alert and smart detection. Uh, we have certain capabilities in LCS in the past, but now certain features are being deprecated, are not available anymore. We are going to talk a little bit this in the few minutes in the next slide, and how we can now move into the new monitoring and telemetry using Azure Application Insights. So that's the purpose of this session. We were going to learn how to set up and how to configure the solution. And from there, we're going to take all these details and we're going to see the step by step how to do it in the right way. Okay. So what is Azure Application Insight? It's an extension of monitoring to provide features like logging telemetry, metrics, events, page views, exceptions, uh, smart detections, alerts. We can do nice integrations with GitHub and with Azure DevOps. We can see the application usage. We can create our own telemetry dashboard as well. So it's a quite a robust way that is reside inside Azure that maybe the traditional F&O users or F&O administrators are not too much exposed to that. But today we are going to look a little bit more in details. We are going to navigate inside Azure. We're going to review how to create these resources and do it in the right way. So monitoring and telemetry with application inside, the purpose is to have a kind of near real-time alert. Still, I want to highlight this part is near real-time. And we have a better assignment to priority and development effort as well. We can do it in the right way. We can monitor the quality of our customization as well. We can review the type of errors we are getting from the solution in details. So this is what we are going to check today. The out-of-the-box telemetry features provides certain interesting alerts like the form run, form load, the user sessions. We can see the X++ exceptions. We can create custom events or custom metrics. We can monitor the data migration frameworks errors. We can as well put on top the warehouse event, and we can extend it in the code to emit our own telemetry using custom events. We can create dashboard for an overview. We can create perform proactive monitoring by using the smart detection features inside Azure. We can set up alerts to receive it by email, to create a logic apps and send create a ticket or ticketing system or send a record to the bot that need to be traced in more details. So we can create a smart, customized way how to consume the data. We can analyze this data using Power BI as well. We are going to review as well some how to get there. course, what is not included is SQL performance or hardware integrated monitor. This is not a database log. Please, that's not the purpose of the solution. It's not a replacement for the LCS environment monitoring health metrics page yet. So we will gonna review later on because, as you know, we are trying to transition, and many of you are aware that LCS is going to be deprecated at a certain point. For this piece, Microsoft still have not provided a clear information what will be the right solution to monitor the infrastructure, the hardware, and to check what are will gonna be, how these capabilities will gonna be covered in the future. So a little bit of differentiation here between monitoring and telemetry versus operational insight. Operational insight was a different solution that was more commerce oriented specific, but monitoring and telemetry is a solution that want to cover operational insight, warehouse applications, and more specific features that we're going to come in the future release, like the warehouse app metrics as well. So operational insight is just a small piece inside all these capabilities we have for monitoring the solution inside finance and operations. So and how we can do this monitoring across the platform. So we have this application insight as a baseline here, and then we have all the F&O, warehouse, finance, supply chain, the warehouse management application, and all these procedures goes straightforward from F&O to the application insight. We cannot put on top the warehouse management application, and of course we can put the model-driven apps, and the Dataverse can be integrated as well into this application insight solution. Today, I mostly want to focus on the first piece, that is the finance and operation configuration, and then maybe in a future session we can cover warehouse management and how to monitor model-driven apps and Dataverse. Let's check what we need to do in reality to process this in the system. What are the required steps or the prerequisites that we need to cover to handle this solution in a proper way? So, of course, we need the application insight and monitoring features in F&O, which right now this is by default in the version 44. And if you are in the version 44, you don't need to install or enable anything. We're gonna come up by default activate. So we can check this into our environment. So in F&O, maybe I can show here. Let me refresh this screen for a second. In the meantime, I will open my Azure environment. So if we check from the feature management, this is version 44. So the features that you have to make sure is active is the following one. Monitoring and telemetry, but as you can see, this is on by default now in the version 44, so you don't need to activate anything. Coming back to the presentation, as I mentioned, what we need to do is we require an Azure subscription. We require to create an application insight instance inside the Azure subscription, of course, in the proper resource group, where we can collect and store all telemetry data. Of course, we need to put the details of the subscription, the resource group. We need to define a name for this, a region, and we need to make sure what we name properly the instance according to our internal ruling and naming conventions we have in our organization. So next step, after we create this application insight instance, we need to capture just one field here that will going to be the connection string. So for the purpose of this presentation, the connection string is not full here. I omit certain details here, but to make it more effective in the next step, what we need to do is the following. We need to go to our environment, to finance and operation, and we need to put this connection string here. So maybe this piece, we can do it in live. So what we need to do here in the system administration, in the monitoring and telemetry parameters, is the second section into the environment. First, we need to capture the environment from the LCS or from the Power Platform admin setup. So in this case, I'm going to copy this this environment ID here, and I will gonna specify which type of environment I'm using for this case. In this case, I'm using this for a test environment. So, and then just I need to save the environment here. And the next step, as I mentioned, is according to the presentation, is take this connection string into the F&O. So for this, what I need to do here, I already deploy my application Insight instance. I just need to copy this endpoint and put it here into the right field, that is connection string. So as soon as I'm complete with that piece, the main setup, I would say, is more or less ready. So the next part I need to do here is to activate which metrics I'm going to enable for this. So maybe I will going to start with the form rooms and maybe with the user sessions. I want to monitor the user sessions and the DMF errors. So in this case, I will going to not activate the warehouse events, or maybe I want to trace the exceptions on the failures. So, and with that setup, this environment is ready, and application Insight here is ready to start capturing the what is in finance and operation. So that is the essential setup that we need to take care of. So we put the environment ID, we select the type of environment that we want to select in this screen, and the next we need to copy the connection string from the resource we create in Azure. So, and from there, we need to select the type of telemetry we want to transmit from F&O to Application Insight. So, what is the purpose? We have the different type of testing available. We can create alerts. We can define rules to manage this in the most optimal way. We can kick off actions and automate follow-up activities. I'm going to show you this in live. So from the application Insight, we can start defining alerts here in the system. So far, this is quite fresh. In the last 24 hours, I have no alerts, but maybe I can refer to my last 30 days if I have any. Still nothing being captured. I made the setup for you in this environment. It's quite new. It's quite fresh. But then I can start getting these metrics into the live. So we have different type of metrics. We have all the logs here in the and we can query this type of logs here using the type of tables we have here, or we have maybe we can check exceptions here, and you're gonna see that the errors start to pop up now in the solution. So you see here we can start capturing the environment ID, who was the user doing the changes here, what was the time specific, what the application name. So all these details we can start collecting from here. And of course, we can create this kind of application maps as well, which are this kind of very nice feature to understand what the users are doing in the system. or use the smart detections rules that this kind of guided by Azure, what the errors we can get from the solution. Or we can start getting live metrics as well. So this is still a little bit in preview. Or we can search for specific transactions. We maybe this we can use create workbooks to monitor what is in. We can create our own workbooks to analyze the specific tasks or activities, or we can go even further and I'm sorry, I missed the part of the alert. So we can start creating alert rules here. We can select a signal here. We can maybe start with a query here. Maybe here I can take this query here that I have here in my history. Let me minimize this. I have this something to understand what is happening with my errors during the last 30 minutes. As an example here, I have an error here with this new supply communicating agent. I will want to check this later on. I have the batch job ID as an example. So maybe this is a good example to check. I will gonna pick up this batch job ID. Now I will come back to my system. And this is one of the interesting things that is sometimes better captured by the application inside and not from the traditional user interface. So I copy the job ID that I got here from the application inside. When I see this batch job, I see no errors, it's waiting. Maybe if I check the batch job history, seems to be that being completed without any problem. So normal user will gonna see this no major error, but maybe I will gonna go a little bit deeper here. I'm gonna check the log, and here I'm getting the errors what I'm just being captured in the application side. I wanna review this for you in 1 second. So continue with the alert here. Maybe I want to check here this. We're gonna run every 30 minutes. I want to something when it's greater than 0. I want to create an alert for me. And then I'm gonna define the action and maybe I wanna define the action. So email alert. I'm gonna send an alert to my email and my Azure mobile app application as well. Okay, so I have created my alerts. I'm gonna be notified in a few seconds. I wanna say that this is an error, and then I will gonna define the alert, email alert. And of course, I'm gonna create this alert for me now. Okay, so now I have defined alerts. I want to come back here to the query here, because by creating this type of queries, we can analyze in detail this data. So the easy way to do it is with the SQL. So I will give you at the end some resources where you can learn a little bit of SQL. In this case, I'm doing a query to the exception tables, where the timestamp is 30 minutes ago. I'm checking all these details. I'm excluding the legal entity dot. but I'm capturing here the batch ID as an example, the errors, and all what I need to capture to be able to understand what is happening. I have a short error message, and then I have the full error message here. So I can check all the details. I have the job description as well. So I have all these details. So this is the idea of the monitoring. We can create different types of queries, but something more interesting as well is to use the what Microsoft offers as well, that is the Azure Data Explorer. And on top of this, so you will gonna see you can create different type of dashboards that are more intuitive to monitor what is happening in the solution. So, and to get started doing this, Microsoft and the Fast Track team has put together a list of resources in GitHub to start getting this form up to speed. So what we need to do to make this in the right way. So I will gonna share this link later at the end of this presentation as well. What we need to do, basically, we need to give a second. We need to download this. Maybe I want to download this JSON here for the monitoring or the utilization of the system. So, and basically from the dashboard here, basically I just need to import this file. I downloaded a few minutes ago. So, and then I need to create this one. So you will gonna see that all these errors, but if we come back to the instructions here, we need to properly map into the cluster ID. So for the best clarity here, we need to use this type of a method here. So we need to identify, we need to change basically 3 parameters here. So we need to change the subscription, that is part of our subscription ID. We need to identify the resource group and the application inside instance name. So, and where we need to change this, basically in the Azure Data Explorer here, we have here on top the data sources. And we need to change this information here to make it in the right way. So I have here my my instance. I removed the details of the subscription, of course, but you will see that I put all the right path together for you. And then basically what I need to do here is to just replace this connection string, select the database that will gonna be my application inside, and I want to make a query every maybe 5 minutes, something to do with not really, or we can do it every a minute if you want. So, and from there, you will see the magic coming up, and we have all workspace already working for us. And we can change, of course, if we don't want to make here a pie chart, we can change this. We can modify if don't want a donut, we can have a pie here, or we can put a table if I make it do it more specific. This is quite straightforward to customize. And we can define it here as we want to make it. We can apply the changes. And of course, if you come back here, you can check the custom query that I'm using to capture this information. And all these variables that I have here are defined in the parameters. We can define parameters to filter the data. And we can use these parameters here in the top section. So this dashboard here, we have 4 parameters. Is the time range, the user ID, the activity ID, we can select by activity, or the type of forms. So And here you can start checking that I'm already getting a slow forms that are taking longer to load, execution times, duration trends, and we can create different type of information around the data we are getting from financial operation. There are more in the GitHub offered by the Faster team. For Azure Data Explorer, we have DNF errors, we have errors, slow queries as well, and all of this can be imported in the same way to the Azure Data Explorer. I'm here more familiar on monitoring more the errors, the batch errors here, or what is happening with the errors, what is happening with the batch errors and with the interactive errors that users are getting from the user interface. So maybe I can start filtering here by what has been done by batch, as I mentioned before, or what's happening in interactive way with a certain user. So, and from here, you will see that we can start exploring the data, analyzing what happened here, and getting a full stream, what was the error inside, and we can analyze more in details from where this error is coming to. This information is quite important, this call stack, to analyze the details, the class that maybe was failing, or the batch error that we were discussing before, why it fails, what was the error here in the system. Errors that sometimes we don't pay attention, but the application side is capturing. And of course, if we resolve these errors on time in the right way, we will optimize the performance of our platform in a much optimal way. So let me come back to the presentation for a second. As we saw, we can define different types of alerts. We can understand what are the patterns and the anti-patterns. So what are the purpose of application insight? Once again, contribute to provide insight to the end-to-end processes. How many invoices are being processed on average, creating a sales orders to the actual invoicing process, replace any custom logging in your applications. We're going to contribute to the overall storage consumption, and use the telemetry feature to send data to application inside. We need to design as well for cost efficiency. We don't need to send a huge amount of data, but this is not defined to monitor infrastructure. This is not designed to do performance, or if something is being trouble, or if a data set becomes to be too large. Application inside use different types of metrics, different values, and this is the right solution to capture different type of applications, especially from Microsoft. So the recommendations start to transition to this type of monitoring, and we're going to become much more efficient in the near future. So typical scenarios, what we have discussed: batch monitoring, form utilizations, critical processing inside. What is the throughput of the order processing? How many invoices we are processing on average? Posting of general ledger journals. So all type of scenarios we can start putting together in the application inside. This can be extended. We can put our own telemetry into application inside. And of course, we need to think about additional insight in the process flow, leverage using the class available for developers is a sys global telemetry, log event, log trace, and log metric. So all these three classes are available to start extending the solution and putting more details from F&O application design. Let me come back a little bit here. Maybe I can quickly show you from a different environment. from here. Yeah, here. So one of the things that I wanted to show before is the application map. Uh, decided not to work today for me. Okay, let's park this for now. And let me go back to the presentation. So, as I mentioned, we have a custom query language to do all these queries in Application Insight. And as I mentioned, the data we capture in Application Insight can be consumed by different type of tools. So we have the Application Insight logs, we have the workflows, Azure Data Explorer, as I mentioned in live, and from Azure Data Explorer, we have all these dashboards that already Microsoft and the Faster team are putting in public for utilization and for customization as well. We can create, as mentioned, we can consume this from Azure Data Explorer. We need this type of URL to connect this Azure Data Explorer to Application Insight. We just need to replace only the subscription ID, the resource group, and the instance name, and then we will be able to consume data directly from Azure Data Explorer. From Azure Data Explorer as well, we can access directly the data. You want to see the cluster here, or we can add the connection here. And we need again the URL. So I will gonna connect this once again. And you see that now you have access to the tables that I showed before in Azure Application Insight, and we can start querying this data from here. So how a query looks like in Application Insight, we can take from here maybe as an example what we have here. We're gonna start making the query right away. Let's do the copy here. Yeah. It's not letting me copy this. Okay, I will park this for now. So PostgreSQL is the right way how to do it. We can import the dashboard that the Faster team create for us. We can consume the data creating workbooks as well. And of course, we have plenty of documentation about how to get started with this application Insight and how to learn a little bit of custom. And we have as well this nice or more data available that is how to consume this data from Power BI. So there is another resource that I would like to share today with you. That is, we can start consuming this data from Power BI, and we have all the guidance. We have the reports already in. We can download this to Power BI and just make the connections via API to the application side, and we will want to make it. We can build automations around application side. Yes, we can. We can connect Power Automate to application side, and when some type of alert, specific rules happen, we can trigger an automation and create a custom alert. We can create a custom event or do certain integration with other tools we have around our systems. So that's the way how we can start getting started with application insight. It's not really hard to get. You need to get more familiar with the custom queries, how to read the data from the platform. So it's quite beneficial. We can check all the slow queries. As an example, I can do custom filter for certain activities, or we can monitor in details how the users are using the system, which are the instances that they are getting more access, or the top 20 most open forms, or maybe I can explore this data. I can check in details what is the detail. Here is top 20. Maybe I can do top 50 if I want. All these changes I can make it. I just need to do this in edit mode, of course. And then I want to have now the top 50 forms that users are working in the system. So, and immediately I can get starting benefit from application insight, what is happening in my platform. So once again, this is the session for today. I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of technical details. The purpose of this session is just to get started with application insight, learn how to do this setup. It's not really complex, just you need access to the Azure, to the right to create the resource and the application insight instance. And then the setup in finance and operation is quite straightforward and easy to do. So if you want to get in touch and talk a little bit more about this, please feel free to contact with me. Here is my LinkedIn. You can do a scan to the QR code and you will get into my profile. Or if you want to follow my blog, my website as well, you can get more details and get more information about myself as well. So that's for today. Hand it over to you, Ramit. Back to you.
Super. Thank you, John. Important session. I think we have a couple of questions, I guess. First question someone asked, is there any cost associated with Azure Application Insight? Is this billable?
Say again?
Okay, so the first question we have from Venkat is, he wrote, is Azure Application Insight is billable? I mean, any cost associated with this? Cost.
Okay, of course, there is some cost in Azure for all this data that we store. Maybe let me share once again. It's not a huge amount of data or costing associated with this. So if I go back to my Azure here, you will gonna see here the cost estimation for this. I've been using here quite a lot here. And from the utilization here, oops. Where is the costing part here? Yeah, usage and estimate cost. So I was using here quite heavily this the last month. So for I will say I was putting all the type of event in this environment for a month using it heavily, and I just got a cost of $10. So from a different environment, maybe I can show you as well what is the related cost here. Maybe from something that is more in production environment, you will want to see here that the cost of this in Azure is not really huge. This is more or less the same being used in production for a month or a little bit more. And the cost here is quite low as well. So it's around $10. So it's not high amount of cost that you need to pay for this, but the benefits are quite high as well.
Super. I have this
Thank
clear.
you.
One,
Thank you, John.
one question from Andre in case, or maybe Andre, if you want to ask the question, you can. Otherwise, I can repeat it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can see the question from Andre. I have not tested this before, Andre, but I think there is a connector to get into this directly with, but I need to try a little bit.
Okay. Cool. All right. I think we don't have any question. If you have any question, let's ask John. If you have this opportunity to ask him. Otherwise, if you have some question after this call, you may connect with John directly. He can help you out. Super. I think we don't have any question, John. I think it has been a fantastic session. I'd say thank you so much for your time, John, and thank you so much to everyone for joining this call and making this event always successful. Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.